And welcome everybody to the final yard here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I am your host, Louis Sung, and I am joined by my co-host of the Pulse of Fins Nation, Ron Caniff. How are you doing today, sir?
Awesome. Always good after a win, even if it is preseason. And I don't think preseason
I know
matters.
you don't really
but
care about preseason.
I don't, but it's still nice to have a win. It's nice to see him do some good things more importantly than anything.
Yeah, it definitely was fun to watch the Texans flounder. I love how I don't remember the guy's name, but I was watching it with a Texans slant on it, and I was I guess I was watching their local.
You were watching their local.
Yeah, because I couldn't get it on my TV. I don't know why, but
that's weird.
Anyway, but so I was watching it with them, and they're talking about how it's just a glorified, how it's just a glorified practice. But I'm still encouraged about what I'm seeing out here as they're losing 28-3. But that's fine, whatever. I get it. You guys are paid to talk up the Texans. I get it. But either way, Miami Dolphins beat the Houston Texans 28-3, and we saw a lot of really good things from the Dolphins offense. We saw a lot of good stuff from the defense as well. We'll get into everything that we saw. We will have more people coming on to the show, hopefully. Anyway,
maybe.
But before we get too far into it, just want to go ahead and mention that, as always, this show is brought to you by our good friends over at You Brake Wheel Fix. You Brake Wheel Fix is the complete automotive wheel solution. Ever parked too close to the sidewalk curb? You Brake Wheel Fix specializes in the repair of damaged wheels from bends, cracks, and curb rash. Or maybe your wheels are faded or peeling. You don't need to replace them, as You Brake Wheel Fix can refinish them to like new. Offering complete refinish options through powder coating, machining, and polishing, You Brake Wheel Fix is the answer to all of your wheel needs. And if you're just looking to give your ride a new look, You Brake Wheel Fix also offers many car customizing options, such as new custom wheels and tires from your favorite brands, performance upgrades, window tinting, and suspension modifications. Located just south of Aventura, you can reach Mark and his staff at 305-748-0112 or online at youbrakewheelfix.com. They are really active on all social media platforms at You Brake Wheel Fix, so shoot them a DM on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter and get an estimate in just minutes. So don't delay, go to You Brake Wheel Fix and start customizing your ride to show off your Dolphins fandom today. This show is also brought to you by PrizePicks.com. PrizePicks.com is the revolutionary fantasy platform where you can now pick up to 6 different players across professional sports leagues. Whether that's the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, one of each, it's up to you to decide. Just choose whether your chosen player will get more or less than their projected stat. They give you free squares, special Taco Tuesday promos, Flex Friday specials where you can get your money back if you lose or multiply the amount of money you can normally win. I actually ended up betting for both my fiance and my father, and I was one player away from $500 wins on both of those, which is both frustrating and also encouraging because I know that it can be done. So in any case, use that promo code 5, that's FIVE, and they will match up to $100 on your initial deposit when you sign up. It's promo code 5, FIVE. Go to prizepicks.com, deposit your $100, and let PrizePicks give you $100 of their dollars for you to play with and get started winning today. All right, Ron. So let's just get this part out of the way first, because I know that people are going to talk about this. The very first play of the game for the Miami Dolphins.
I'd already forgotten, honestly. But
yeah, I know. I'd forgotten. It's not that I forgot. I knew it happened. I just didn't care. But there are going to be people out there who are looking at it and being like, why didn't Tua see that? Why did he throw it right to the defender? Why did this happen? And
I have no comment on it. I really don't.
Okay, so basically we're not concerned even a little bit for what we saw there.
No.
Okay.
I mean, you could tell the Dolphins weren't concerned. You could tell Tua wasn't concerned. You could tell Mike McDaniel wasn't concerned. So I'm definitely not concerned.
Yeah, I mean, that works for me. Like, the only comment I'm really going to have on is that Tua made a mistake. It's something that happens. They're experimenting with the offense. So anybody talking about how there's so many mistakes in practice and he's throwing a lot of interceptions, that is expected. Number one, not only because they're trying some new things on offense, and I get that today was not a time to try out new things on offense. They're doing things fairly basic, but I would like to point out that this is not Josh Boyer's defense anymore that Tua is facing on a regular basis, I should say. This is Vic Fangio's defense that he is now facing, and Vic Fangio is known as one of the best defensive coordinators in the recent NFL. So,
it wasn't today though.
I mean,
but I get what you're saying. In general, you're saying.
Wait. Well, they gave up only 3 points. What are you talking about? Vic Fangio's defense.
No, Tua wasn't facing Vic Fangio's defense when
he wasn't facing Vic Fangio's defense today. But you know what? Like, mistakes will happen.
Of course,
mistakes will happen, and today was one of those instances where he made a mistake. But you know what? Here's the thing that you should take away from all of this, because literally right on the next drive, yeah, there was a high snap from Connor Williams, and Tua had to try to desperately bring that down. He handed it off to Raheem Mostert, who managed to just barely get back to the 1 yard line. But then they basically went a 99-yard drive all the way down the field right after that for a touchdown, and handed right off to. By the way, you were right about Dalvin Cook, but I don't know if you were right about Devon Achane actually beating him out, Raheem Mostert, because Raheem Mostert today looks really solid. I think that's why he's going to be the starting running back for.
I knew he would start to begin with, but I mean, now we have another concern that Achane got injured, so now that changes things. We have to wait and see what happens there.
Yeah, let's just say that there were. Apparently, it was a shoulder injury, so hopefully it won't be too bad. So in any case, we will see what happens with him. But as far as I'm concerned, Raheem Mostert is more than good enough to get the job done. Aaron Anders bringing up that pick six was that almost pick six was embarrassing, and there probably were people cheering that Tua made the interception, and Skylar Thompson is the greatest of all time. I will go ahead and I'll just read off very quickly Skylar Thompson's stats for today, which they are impressive. Don't misunderstand.
More impressive than last week, that's for sure.
Definitely, yeah. 15 out of 22, 157 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Skylar Thompson. So, yeah, I would have to say that's pretty impressive. But then again, he was impressive last preseason.
Oh, he was a beast last preseason.
He was so good that there were people literally asking for there were literally teams asking if they could trade for him, and the Dolphins said no. So now we all know what happened in the regular season after that. Skylar Thompson was
You got Leo asking Butch Berry Coach of the Year. I say let's pump our brakes a bit and see some of the season before we claim that.
Yeah, I was looking at the offensive line too, and I was trying to keep an eye on as much as I possibly could. But everything that I was seeing there, there was some good things. There were also some bad things. I was not a big fan of Isaiah Wynn today, for instance. He did not look as good as he did last week, so I'm a little concerned about that. Robert Jones was looking good again until he got hurt, which is, of course, that's how that works. It's like every time a player does a good thing, he has to end up getting injured immediately right after that.
Austin Jackson looked good again.
You okay? Wait, now if you're saying Austin Jackson looked good, he
must have looked really decent. Good. I mean, for Austin Jackson, he looked all right.
I mean,
he wasn't getting killed out there, so that's something in the positive.
Well, you added the qualifier there. He looks good for Austin Jackson.
I think it goes without saying, but with you, I guess I have to add the qualifier. You get all excited.
I mean, I have to get excited, man. I have to get excited about something when it comes to this offensive line, because again, if they're looking at Isaiah Wynn and saying that he's the man, I'm not feeling it, man. I'm not feeling it. Luch and Jackspot saying Skylar looks like he still has the rookie eyes. I mean, again, this is the thing with Skylar Thompson is that he in a weird sort of way, he plays like he plays like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He plays like a gunslinger. So he'll throw it out there and he'll pray and he'll hope somebody comes down with it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. There was one throw that he made that almost got intercepted, and I'm not sure who he was. I think he was trying to throw to what's his name? Dwayne something? No. Dawood something. I don't know, man. I don't remember every wide receiver that's on the Dolphins roster at this point. Like, I know that he's not going to make the team. That's what I know for sure. So now I wanted to go ahead and ask you, Ron, what is the main thing that caught your eye during this whole thing?
How much we're running the ball, and it made me think, and I'm always I wonder if they're doing this because of, and I come up with I almost like play conspiracy theory with football in a way. But my thought was, man, I noticed they were running the crap out of it last time. Now today they were running it so much. Are they trying to do that, hoping that the Chargers will watch the preseason play calling and think that, they're trying to get those linebackers to come up? Or is that really how he intends to run the offense? Like, are we going to be running it that much? I mean, we were running the crap out of the ball, especially today. It's just interesting how much we're running it, and running it pretty well. And it seems to not matter who's in there for the most part, as far as running back or which offensive linemen are in there. Like they've been able to get run blocking going, and I like that. I mean, that's interesting. I just trying to figure out what this offense is going to look like this year, because man, that's a bit more like the Niners offense that we saw, in the Super Bowl, right? That's what it looks like. And when they had Mostert and Wilson and a few other of these guys. So that's the most interesting part to me so far. What I was curious to see what it does in week 1.
So since you're talking about the running game, what I really wanted to bring up here, and I wanted to highlight this for everybody. So last week, Myles Gaskin put on what we considered a clinic. He was running the ball hard. He was running with a lot of effort, running with a lot of power, that we were thinking, hey, maybe he's may actually have a chance of beating out Salvon Ahmed. So as it turns out, Myles Gaskin sits this week, and Salvon Ahmed is given the majority of the snaps at running back to let him. I guess the goal was to see, okay, Myles Gaskin did this. Now it's your turn. Let's see what you do. So Salvon Ahmed proceeds to do exactly that. 12 carries, 99 yards, averaging 8.2 yards a carry. Yeah. So I guess it's back on Myles Gaskin to try to beat him again.
And it was interesting. You got to see Skylar Thompson get it this time instead of White. And then you got to see Ahmed do it instead of Gaskin. So that was that's interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of other spots we could check out. If we were maybe paying closer attention where they've done that, where this game is a flip from the last game.
So I at the end of the day, Ron, also, I want to just go ahead and highlight somebody else. By the way, Devin Jordan, thank you very much for the donation there in the super chat. But I noticed so far with the Dolphins offense, there's a lot of dink and dunks with lots of running back screens. Love it. Yes. As a matter of fact, that's a very good. That's a very good point to bring up right there, because like last year, we loved how explosive the offense looked. Tua was throwing 20 yards down the field, and Tyreek Hill was always there. Jalen Waddle was always there. It was exciting. It was incredible. And then in the times that they were not there, everything fell to pieces, and Tua refused to dump it off to anybody who was just hanging out there. So now all of a sudden we're seeing guys who are available in the open field, just kind of coming out of the backfield. Hey, I'm right here. Boom, done. That's the end of it right there. Threw it to Salvon Ahmed for a first down. Beautiful play. I was very excited. I think Devon A-Chain got a screen as well. So he was able to motor right through, or was that a run? I think that was a run, actually. I take it back. Yeah. That was a run.
It was a run, but the running game looks solid, but it's the preseason. Well, it certainly didn't look solid last year in the preseason. We couldn't run it a yard. It was, go back and check. I know box score doesn't really tell the game. Go back and check the box score for some of those preseason games. Go check the box score like the first 5, 6, 7 weeks of the season. I mean, it was just pitiful. So I'm very, very encouraged by what's going on in the running game right now. It's just got me. It's got my interest peaked, but whether he's trying to get the Chargers to do it right away, or whether his plan is he's going to force these linebackers up, and then he's going to start throwing up in the middle of the field to Waddle and Tyreek. I mean, that's the plan. Just get these linebackers to cheat up because they're getting run all over. And then you just start doing some of the stuff you did last year. I mean, I just think it's if you can add this running game, a running game this good into this offense, it completely changes the game. It makes it so much harder for the defense to adjust to the things you do the best, and that is still throwing the ball to Waddle and Tyreek on those like deep slants in the in the middle of the field, and those little comebacks, and it's just in the crosses. Man, that's just insane right there. That's more like, that almost kind of reminds me a little bit of a lot of the things that Tua did in Bama. Because they were running the crap out of the ball. They had good running backs. They had an offensive line, but then they had that track team of wide receivers with, they had Ruggs, they had Jerry Jeudy, they had Waddle, they had Devontae Smith. I mean, damn, man. So it's interesting to see what we're building there on offense. I was a little perturbed the last few days about the way the offense had been. I was starting to get concerned, but I was more encouraged today than I have been all off season, honestly.
And there's some other things that are coming up right now that I want to go ahead and highlight here. Luchin Jackpot, first of all, is asking about David Long. So yeah, David Long on defense.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. So David Long looks pretty darn awesome. I know that was actually, since I was watching the Texans stream, in order to actually watch the game.
Yeah.
I was actually able to, like, they were complaining because I guess David Long came on a blitz and they were all frustrated. It's like, because you're not supposed to do that in preseason, man. I'm not impressed by that.
Are you serious?
He said he's a former Texans player who's now in the booth.
Who
I'm
is
guessing.
It, do you know?
I don't remember his name, man. It was a while ago, but the point is that he was like, you can't do that. That doesn't impress me, man. It's the preseason. You're not supposed to do a linebacker blitz like that. First of all, that's code for you're upset that you got beat by it.
That's also kind of old hat, as they say too. Like that was a mentality in preseason like 15 years ago. Now teams are using preseason for a lot of different things to check out a lot of different things, and especially guys who are friends like McDaniel and Ryans. They probably had a conversation about a lot. Hey, if we get a chance, can you maybe show us this? Oh, yeah, if we get a chance, maybe show that. Hey, let's not kick off into the back end zone or things like that. Like they'll have conversations. Not going to give them game plans. I mean, there are no game plans, right? But they'll have little conversations. Hey, I'm going to go for it a lot on 4th down, just so you know. So it's like, all right, cool. It gives our defense a chance at 4th and 6. See how guys react. Yeah, I'm sure that, they know that Fangio sends 5 a lot. Like for us to not send 5 on a fairly regular basis is pretty much he's not even playing his defense. And he's trying to implement a new defense that the team doesn't know. So that's just, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on a 5-minute rant about that guy, but he just sounded kind of ignorant. And I hate to say that somebody who played and now broadcasts is ignorant, and I'm not, but he sounded kind of ignorant.
Fair enough. And I see in the chat there, Mario Crystal Goat has something to say. He's been, if you want, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. I guess Manny pulled that. Manny has been hiding in the producer's room for a little while. He's been busy doing the Florida Marlins. I see how easy it is for me. The Florida Marlins, the Miami Marlins. I can't. They're always going to be the Florida Marlins, man. I can't get on board with Miami Marlins. But anyway, he'll be back for regular season, so we're looking forward to that. So in the meantime, Ron and I are doing the producer stuff. Mario Crystal Goat. I have been saying for a minute now that I'm not as worried about our OL as everybody else, but I like what I've seen. Not great, but good. Well, you know what, man? Look, if good is all we get, I'm pretty much content with that. I don't need them to be the top 5 offensive line in the NFL. Speaking of the offensive line, though, just some news that I want to go ahead and let everybody know. McDaniel is talking to the press right now. And one of the things that was said, this is the tweet is per Marcel.
The breaking news.
In a manner of speaking, yes, it's an update. I guess you could say it's an update on what's going on. McDaniel was asked straight up about Teron Armstead's injury because there was a picture that was seen and Teron Armstead was in a boot on his right foot.
Yeah, so, it was more than a picture. We were watching it on live on TV, watching him walking around in the boot.
I must have blinked when that happened.
Yeah.
So. Or maybe you had maybe you had a different camera angle because I was watching Texans stuff.
Oh yeah, I was watching the Dolphins stuff. Maybe that's why.
But in any case, so McDaniel was talking about Teron Armstead's injury, and according to McDaniel, he's quote, he's doing well, optimistic. We avoided anything too substantial in terms of timeline. I'm not really worried about it. So, now I have to preface that a little bit because Mike McDaniel was not worried about Byron Jones or his timeline either. So I don't want to take away too much from McDaniel saying he's not worried, but
here's the flip on that. He wasn't worried about it, but he kept giving false hope. He learned his lesson pretty much about false hope. He kept saying like he felt, oh yeah, I feel like he'll be back for the beginning of the season for sure. Remember that? Like he was feeling real good. Oh yeah, probably a couple weeks he'll be back. So he learned his lesson. So with Armstead, he's like pretty much a non-answer is what that is. It's like I'm not telling you when I think he's going to be back, even though I'm sure he has an idea and Armstead has an idea and the medical staff does, but they're not going to give us that answer because it's not a for sure known thing. And he's not going to get burned like he did last year, taking guesses and continuously being wrong. And he's even said that out loud with injuries since then.
Sorry, but wrong button again.
Wrong, but you're on having a wrong button.
I'm on a roll, man. I've been on a roll with wrong buttons for the past 3 days. But anyway,
we got a few There's a few things I saw here.
But
Right
by the
here
way, my
from
father's
Brian.
texting me. My father is texting me as we're doing this post-game show, and he was
Yes.
asking. He was looking to answer the question. ND Kalu, that's the other announcer's name, who was all grouchy about don't blitz on preseason.
I don't even know who that is. We got Brian, who I keep on wanting to read as Byron Maxwell. What you are saying about the running game making the passing game better, this could not be more true. Absolutely. When you have a passing game,
it's a fundamental truth, man.
Yeah, if you have a passing game as good as we do, if you can start running it, oh man, does that make it hard that? It makes it so difficult for defenses if you're going to be able to run the ball, and then they have to defend against Tyreek and Waddle as well, and Tua, and just
by the way, Tyreek Hill continues to be uncoverable. Like, just a quick little screen, a quick little screen in the flat, gone.
He makes it's so weird. He makes every play look like somebody busted a coverage where they didn't really bust a coverage. He just juked them out of their cleats. It's just that simple, man.
I love Tyreek Hill, man. I really hope he doesn't hold true to his little talk about retirement. And Leo's a little upset that I brought up Byron Jones. Look, man,
I brought up Byron Jones.
I brought up Byron Jones.
We sound like 5-year-olds. No, I brought up. All right, that's enough of that.
All right. More offensive line news. So Robert Jones, who went out with an injury as well, it is officially classified as a lower extremity injury.
For Jones? Okay.
Yes, Robert Jones has a lower extremity injury.
So we don't know then what it is. At first I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, wait a minute. That didn't sound as good the second time you said it.
we can speculate
we have no idea
where the lower extremity is.
Yeah, no, he's the kind of guy that
let's spell it out. If they said it was a leg, they would have said leg. If it was an ankle, they would have said ankle. What else could lower extremity mean?
I don't know. Knee?
No. They said it was a knee.
Lower extremity. Okay. I wonder though, if Robert Jones were to be out significant time or out for the season, I hope not. Is he a guy that they probably go out and try and find somebody to replace? Possibly. I wonder. I wonder if that would cause them to go pick somebody up, even if it was just to try him out.
I feel like the Teron Armstead scare would have done more for that than Robert Jones. Like, as much as Robert Jones has been doing really well in the preseason, there are other guys who have also been doing well in the preseason, one of which is another dude who ended up not playing because of injury, Lester Cotton, and apparently his injury is minor, and that's the only reason that he did not play. According to what I was seeing on the official Mike McDaniel stuff, apparently Lester Cotton wanted to go, but he ended up not going because Mike McDaniel said it wouldn't be fair to you for me to throw you out there when you're not ready to go. So McDaniel is trying to protect his players. And that's perfectly fine with me, man. It's like, right now, it feels like every time a player does something good, he ends up getting hurt and we end up having trouble. Welch is asking if we can trade for Nijman already. That is the guy from Josh Nijman from the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I think the Packers by now, they're probably going to go ahead and try to keep him at this point.
It's just more stuff that of Dolphins fans, and not just Dolphins fans, but those who know more are kind of coming up with ways, how can we still improve this line? So there's just one of those last few names that are still out there. Honestly.
I mean, Dalton Risner too, but I think that actually it was Big O, Orlando Alzagari, who gave a whole breakdown of why the Dolphins are not going to go after Dalton Risner for any reason. My personal thought, not without even listening to it, honestly, I think it just has something to do with the fact that maybe Dalton Risner is one of those dudes who really hated Butch Perry in Denver. So if the Dolphins come a knocking and say, hey, you want to come to Miami? He's going to look at them and say, who's your offensive line coach? Butch Perry. There's your answer. No, thank you.
There you go. I wanted to switch back because we've been kind of switching back and forth and been a little disorganized in this show.
Because we got people talking to us now. We got to acknowledge the audience, man.
I wanted to switch back to the defense, something that I've noticed. And obviously, I'm sure this isn't 100% true. And I'm trying to think even though obviously the defense gave up a few points. Well, like, it was a complete crap show there at the end of the last game. They didn't really give up anything, but it's more than that. Have you noticed that everybody always seems to be pretty much in the place they're supposed to be? Already, and it surprises me even down when we get into the third and fourth quarter when you're playing the third and fourth stringers on the defensive side. Like everybody seems to be doing mostly what they're supposed to be doing. I don't see too much busted coverages and guys playing out of place or guys not being where they're supposed to be or doing what they're supposed to do when the player comes into their area or on the right, understanding the defense, things like that. There's been very, very, very little of that. It's been very impressive. Even some of the times where you saw CJ Stroud today, by the way, looked phenomenal. I mean, he made some great throws. Even though, they were completing those passes, it wasn't because the defensive guy was 5 yards behind them. I mean, all our defensive guys were right there. Noah last game was the same thing. He was getting beat, but man, he was like right there. It's been something that I've noted and noticed, and it's interesting. It feels like these guys are understanding and picking up on this defense extremely quickly, down all the way to the bottom levels of the roster. It just goes to show, that coaching staff in general, not just Fangio, but you've got Ronaldo Hill there. I think doing a lot of too. It sounds like they got the thing where Ronaldo Hill's kind of controlling the thing on the field during the game, and Fangio's up in the booth making the calls. So looks like they have a good division of responsibility that they're doing there. And so far, so good. I haven't seen like a lot of penalties from them. I haven't seen 12 men on the field, or where they look confused on personnel, or they had to call a timeout to figure out who's going in and out. It's just in general, they seem like they have their crap together awfully quick. I'm not saying that speaks to how exactly great they're going to be, but they seem to be catching on. I don't know if you had noticed that, or if you haven't, what your thoughts were on what I just said.
No, they seem to be pretty solid, and the Dolphins didn't really have many penalty problems today, which is actually very refreshing. I will also say this, speaking of the defense and guys getting their crap together, I can't believe I'm doing this again. I'm about to speak positively about somebody.
Noah?
I mean, he's had a whole lot of bad luck. I'll say this, because Noah Benogany, I noted that he looks really good in pursuit of a running back. He wasn't like hesitant or anything. He went right after him, brought him down after a short gain. And yeah, he got beat a couple of times, but those were like perfectly placed passes. There really wasn't much he could have done on that.
They were well thrown balls for sure.
So it's like, dang, man, he can't catch a break.
I still think, though, I still believe that what you're going to see there is they're going to try Eli Apple out there, that spot at the starting boundary when you're in nickel. If you're not in nickel, it's assuming health, Kohu and X. So if you're just playing base defense, which they're not going to play as much as they play nickel defense, right? When you're playing base defense, it'll be Kohu and X. So you don't really have to make that decision. Do I put out Noah? Do I put out Eli? But then when you start to play nickel, Kohu goes to the nickel. I believe by week 1, they're going to trust Eli Apple more. That's just my guess. I don't know that for sure, but I'm
convinced. Alf has been in the eyes and ears on the ground.
I understand. I just have my belief that they're going to give Eli Apple that shot next week in the third preseason game. Now, we're going to know right away, because if they start Noah again in this third preseason game on that boundary when they're in nickel defense, then he won the job. I mean, period, in a story. He won the job. But I have a feeling you're going to see Eli Apple get that start.
I don't know, man. I'm not convinced. I think it's going to be the more I hear about it, the reports that I'm hearing, like he's one player of the practice from our guys more than once now. There might be something. I don't know if all this time Noah Benogany was just missing the zone, but it's
weird because it's not, you
don't see a guy suck all his life and then suddenly turn around and become
it's so
really
weird.
Good.
It felt like he was in the right defense for him in the Brian Flores defense and in the Boyles defense. And when he was with Auburn, man, he would just manhandle dudes. It was all physical. Like that's all it was when he was with Auburn. And now all of a sudden he gets to this, he's there on the team and Fangio's coming. I'm like, everyone was saying it. This has got to be it. This is it for Noah. He's done. There's no way. And all of a sudden he gets in here and, man, he figures it out on a defense that I never thought that he could play very well.
Nobody did. Nobody.
I'm good for him. I'm not. This isn't a knock on him. Me saying that I think Eli is going to end up getting that spot, but Just kind of feel. That's just my guess. I could be wrong. We'll see.
Yep. Mario Crystal Goat again talking about this is Kendall Lamb playing at a solid level is the best thing that happened to this team in his opinion. I mean, yeah, because this is what I talked about in Fins Nation just a couple days ago was that the Teron Armstead thing is really scary. And do you really, really trust Kendall Lamb to come in and replace an all-pro left tackle for an extended period of time? I know what I saw against the Patriots when he had to take over that one time. And it was very brief. That's the biggest problem for me. It was so short. It was such a small period of time that it's like, okay, I liked what I saw, but is that fool's goal like it was with Greg Little? Or is it something that...
Well, Greg Little was fine. It was good until the moment he got hurt.
Until he wasn't. Yeah, he was good
until the moment he got hurt. So it wasn't like he suddenly started playing bad. There was a reason. I mean, that was kind of the story on Greg Little, right? He just couldn't stay healthy. So as is many players.
Yeah. So, but Kendall Lamb today, he looked good. I mean, I have to go back and I have to rewatch the game, obviously, because when you're watching it live in the moment, you're not really watching to see what the offensive linemen are doing. You're watching the game to see what the game is doing. So I would just go ahead and I need to go back and I need to look at it again, see what the offensive linemen are really doing. But just based on my first impression, Kendall Lamb looked decent. I saw Isaiah Wynn make a couple mistakes. I wasn't a big fan of that. I'm really disappointed overall in Alamu Ulave. I will say that. It seems like he's getting beat every single play.
He's struggling big time.
Yeah, and so that's a concern for me. Dan Feeney.
Yeah. I think he's fine. I like him as the backup center.
As the backup center, though.
If at all else fails, if they needed to make him the center and put Williams, who is having snapping issues again, over to the guard spot, to the left guard spot, I think that would probably strengthen our line overall. I'm surprised they don't do it.
If it was just snapping issues, bro, I think they would go ahead and they could have kept Matt Skura when he was here very, very briefly. That was his whole issue.
But besides the snapping issues, Williams is really strong as a center, really strong, which sounds weird. I mean, it's like saying, besides the throwing the ball part, the QB is really strong. But besides the snapping issues, he's a great center. So I'm sorry?
You mean Justin Fields?
Yeah, Justin Fields, exactly.
But, besides throwing the ball, he's really good.
Yeah, but I think not that this is a Bears show, but I think Justin Fields going to have a really good year.
Somewhere
throwing the ball too.
Somewhere Tom Shannon is in the ether, and his senses are tingling.
Talked to that guy forever. The Bears fan who liked to write about
bearing the news.
Never
Go hunt him down
that,
if you can, folks.
Yeah, there you go. Bearing the news. Yeah, just guess look him up on the old X there. Well, I don't know. We're at 32 minutes. What do you think? We're about ready to wrap it up here.
I mean, is there anything else we want to touch on? Because I'm just looking at the box score here, just looking through it. Braxton Berrios, 3 catches, 33 yards. Savon Ahmed, 4 catches, 32 yards. Once again, or by the way, a running back seems to be the best player on offense. So
and they're barely even using the receivers in preseason. They're throwing to the backs. They're throwing. Oh, I do want to bring something up. This touches base with our last episode of Pulse of Fins Nation. So I know that the first pass Tua threw was to the other team.
I thought you said you had no comment.
Yeah, no, okay, but that's not what I'm commenting about. So did you catch the first pass of who he threw it to when he actually completed the pass to our team?
I can't remember. Who was it?
Durham Smythe.
Oh,
the guy you said won't even get 20 receptions. Now, did you notice?
I'll double down on that, by the way.
I tell you what, for a team that supposedly is only going to have their tight ends blocking, they sure are throwing to the tight ends a lot in preseason. Now, again, it could be tricking us, but I find it interesting how many targets the tight ends are getting. It's just a completely different looking offense right now. I'm trying to figure out, is this going to be the whole offense or is it just going to be a mixture of both? I would imagine so, but it's interesting. I don't know, for a team that doesn't seem to want to do anything with the tight ends, they're throwing them to them a bunch. So I just wanted to bring the Durham Smythe stuff up, though.
Okay, I mean, I part of me doesn't like as I'm going on and I'm thinking about it. I'm really not buying. I'm starting to back off on this whole concept of the tight ends are not going to catch any passes, because when we look at the numbers from last year, this was just last year. Durham Smythe, I think, caught 15 passes. I can't remember.
On 20 targets, yes.
So 15 catches for Durham Smythe. That was with Mike Gesicki in the offense.
Correct. Exactly.
So for Durham Smythe to not catch 30 passes, I don't know.
Yeah, he's gonna catch like 25 to 30 passes, like that. I said 20. You said no way he catches 20. I said he'll catch at least 20, but 25 to 30 is probably going to be the number. I mean, it's not a big number, but it's going to make a difference here and there. It's not going to be. It's not going to be necessarily the total volume he has. I think what's going to happen is he's going to catch them when you least expect it. He's going to get the target when you least expect it, and when the defense least expects it, because they're going to kind of lull him to sleep, I think, with a lot of blocking, and then he'll go out and kind of sneak out there. And that's another thing too, though. Throwing a lot of short passes to tight ends is another thing that's going to force the linebackers back up closer to the line of scrimmage, so they can't cheat back and try and clog the lanes for Tua and the wide receivers. So both that, running the ball a lot and throwing a lot of short passes to tight ends and to backs, all accomplish that same thing. And I know that's what they're trying to accomplish, especially considering they're already like in week 1 prep. Like they want to beat the Chargers bad. And I just feel a lot of what they're doing is the thought process there is week 1 against the Chargers. Can't let them do to us what they did last time. And this time it's going to be a situation where, all right, if they're going to cheat back anyway, then we're going to have to run the ball and throw the ball to the tight end short and throw the ball to the backs. That's what's going to be there for us. That was the problem last time, is they took away what we did well and we didn't adjust to do other things because we never did those other things. But we'll see. We'll see. Week 1 still what? 24 days? How many days? No, that can't be right. 21 days. 22 days. There we go.
Are you looking at the schedule?
No.
September 10th. So that would be
22
7,
days.
14. Yeah, 22 days.
There you go.
Jesus, it feels so far away still, man.
Yeah, I don't know. 22 days. That's not bad. I'm ready.
Maybe Teron Armstead will be ready for week 1 then, after all. Who knows?
That'd be nice. All right,
dude, let's practice anymore, ever.
Let's roll on out of here.
All right. So everybody, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. 5 Reasons is continuing coverage. Lionel Messi's pregame is on there for all of you soccer fans out there. Or maybe I should be more respectful of football. But in any case, for anybody who hasn't already done so, if you want to get your wheels fixed up, or if you need to give your ride a new Dolphins look, go to You Break Wheel Fix. They can help you out. Reach out to Mark and his staff at 305-748-0112 or online at youbreakwheelfix.com. And of course, go to PrizePicks.com. Use the promo code 5. That's FIVE, and they will match up to $100 on your initial deposit when you sign up. Again, that's promo code 5 FIVE. PrizePicks.com. Deposit $100, and they'll give you $100 of their dollars for you to play with for free. So get started winning today. That's going to be it for this show. See you all next week. We will have more pregame, probably on the Playback app, and then we will have another postgame here. We're going to have Fins Nation all week long. I'm going to try to drag Ron kicking and screaming to come and talk to me during that show.
We have Pulse of Fins Nation, of course.
And Pulse of Fins Nation
Tuesday
on Tuesdays,
night,
where he has no choice but to come and talk to me.
Right, I have to. We
got a lot of Dolphins content. Make sure, by the way, Extra Yard, Alex Dono and former Miami Dolphins running back Troy Stratford, always good to listen to them and hear what they have to say. So especially little Troy always has interesting insight on everything as a former player. So make sure you're in tune with that. Dolphins stuff is here, guys. It's all here ready for you.
Well,
so
I mean, we're already through 2 preseason games, so it better be, right?
It's right?
If not now, when?
The coverage is here. So
yes,
we're going to have it all season long. So in that case, see you all next week.
See ya.